There is a particular day, and most people remember it clearly, when the effort of pretending costs more than the fear of telling the truth. You are still smiling at the same people, but inside, a sentence forms that you cannot unhear. I cannot do this anymore. This outward performance of belief requires a specific kind of physical labor. Look at the stoic uniformity of a congregation in prayer. Maintaining that composed surface while your inner world is changing creates a constant low-level dread. Your nervous system begins to act as if it is living in a lie, because it is. To maintain your place in the group, you assemble an adapted self. This is the version of you socialized for survival, the one that learns what to say, how to act, and which parts of your own experience must be hidden to ensure you still belong. The tightening in your chest acts as a somatic protest. Your body is choosing reality over a performance that has become a quiet kind of violence against the soul. It is the moment the true self refuses to keep playing along. Many of us were raised in systems that moralized certainty. We were trained to interpret honest questions as pride, rebellion, or a spiritual defect. You learned to police your own mind, fearing that a single doubt could disqualify you from the community. But doubt serves a biological function. It is an intelligent signal indicating that the environment is asking you to violate your own integrity. It is the mind's way of noticing when the gap between what you are told and what you actually know has become unbearable. This internal conflict is driven by the terms of the hidden deal, an unspoken contract that governs your social safety. A faith crisis is rarely just an intellectual disagreement over doctrine. It is an ancient, biological response to a corrupted social contract that has placed your need for belonging in direct competition with your need for truth. The terms of the hidden deal are absolute. Belonging is exchanged for obedience. In a dense social ecosystem like this one, the group provides your rituals, your friendships, and your sense of cosmic safety. To question the system is to risk being cast out of the only village you have ever known. Your body scans the room for cues of safety or danger through a process called neurosception. When you feel that belonging is conditional, your nervous system shifts into a defensive state. You become hypervigilant, monitoring the tone and facial expressions of those in authority to ensure you are still approved of. To survive under this pressure, the nervous system often utilizes a fawn response. You suppress your internal alarm to appease the external threat. This creates a state of self-silencing, where your body learns that safety is only possible if you ignore your own instincts. You find yourself performing belief, nodding along to things you no longer trust, because your body is attempting to avoid the catastrophe of social exile. You edit your thoughts and swallow your questions, prioritizing the stability of the group over the reality of your own life. When safety is tied to sameness, love becomes a tool for threat management. The body obeys not out of devotion, but because it has been conditioned to fear the vacuum of abandonment. Functionally, doubt is a prediction error. It is the neurological alarm that fires when the map of reality you are handed stops matching the actual terrain of your life. You look for the love promised on the map and find only fear or control. Systems that rely on a single approved map cannot tolerate these errors. Notice how the authority here transmits the story as absolute. When you point out a contradiction, it threatens the group's shared certainty. To protect the map, the institution often chooses to shame the one noticing the error rather than correcting the model. When that map is the only one you have, its failure feels like the world is ending. This is world collapse. The global map, the framework that explained your purpose, your morality, and the afterlife, disintegrates, leaving you standing in a psychological vacuum. Your body reacts to this collapse with the same physiological panic it uses for a physical threat. The loss of a cosmic story and a primary community leaves the nervous system untethered. You may feel waves of nausea, a racing heart, or a heavy, crushing numbness. Leaving a religion creates a profound relational trauma. Beyond the loss of doctrine, you are suddenly, somatically unheld. deprived of the symbolic and social container that once provided gravity for your entire existence. Even after leaving the building, old patterns often persist in your body as religious residue. You rejected the ideas, but your nervous system is still living inside the old environment. This residue keeps the body in a state of chronic hypervigilance. You find yourself stuck scanning for punishment, terrified of making a wrong move, even when no one is watching. Your system remains tuned for survival, unable to fully stand down or trust the silence. Healing requires more than adopting a new philosophy. You have to actively teach your physical body that honesty is now safe. You are retraining your alarm system to recognize your worth is no longer tied to compliance. A new spiritual life cannot take root in the mind until the body's deeply conditioned threat responses are allowed to settle. Recovery is the slow process of returning to yourself. Rebuilding starts with epistemic humility, the strength to admit the limits of what we can know. As Paul Tillich suggested, doubt is not the enemy of faith, it is a necessary element of it. It is the courage to face reality without the protection of forced certainty. Dropping dogma does not require you to abandon the human need for rhythm and shared meaning. We still crave containers, structures that help us mark time, process grief, and connect to the sacred. The goal is to build a new container, a way of being held that is based on consent and inner authority. It is a devotion that invites your questions and protects your dignity, rather than demanding your silence. Choosing to stop the performance is a mature act of integrity. Reaching the day you can no longer pretend marks the beginning of a devotion finally worthy of your life.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Devotion Without Dogma. How to reclaim spiritual depth after religion lets you down. This isn't theory, it's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.